What's up, Broncos fans? I am back here again to do yet another video. I know it's been a little bit of an extended layoff, so I do apologize to you, a few of you that actually comment on my videos and watch my videos. I do apologize to you guys for that and for not making videos the past couple weeks. But simply put, I mean, the demand for these videos is really not that high, so the effort level that I'm putting into these videos and channel is not going to be that high as well. And I know that's kind of shitty, and I do apologize again to the few of you that actually enjoy these for that. But when you take into account all the effort that goes into these videos, and it may not look like much to you guys, but it really is a process, and it can take a couple to a few hours to not only record these videos, but then to edit them. Even as simple as I edit my videos, it takes some time, and then to process it, to upload it, to put all that effort in, and to constantly get 20 views, 30 views, is just really discouraging. It's really disheartening. So if the viewer count grows, the subscriber count grows, this channel continues to show signs of growth, then I definitely will up the effort, up the video output, and do my best to get these videos out as soon as possible. I felt that this was a perfect time to come back and make a video and do a recap video, talk about the Broncos' most recent game, because it definitely was a juicy one, and one that there's a lot of things to talk about. Of course, we played on primetime football, Sunday Night Football, against the New York Giants at home, a game I think pretty much everyone thought we were going to win. I definitely thought we were going to win. I didn't think it was going to be as easy as everyone was making it out to be. I think the Giants, regardless of their injuries, especially to Odell Beckham and Brandon Marshall and Sterling Shepard, I mean, this still is a team that does have talent. They may be banged up. They may be missing some edge rushers as well on the defensive side of the football. But this is a really talented team, especially defensively and especially in that secondary. And it definitely showed in this game. And simply put, and hands down, we got our asses kicked thoroughly for 60 minutes here in this game by the Giants. They pretty much dominated this game from the get-go, played it safe, executed a great game plan, and dominated in the trenches. And start with where things kind of went wrong for the Broncos here in this game. Again, I don't think you can really start anywhere else but inside the trenches. We, simply put, in this game got beat at the line of scrimmage, and we got beat thoroughly. We got our asses handed to us at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football. You look at what the Giants were able to do in terms of offensively running the ball. They finished with 148 rushing yards, averaged 4.6 yards per carry here against our defense on 32 attempts. That has not happened at all this year, obviously. I mean, we held Ezekiel Elliott, Marshawn Lynch, LaShawn McCoy, and Melvin Gordon. I believe those combined four backs to under 100 yards or just over 100 yards. And you got Orleans Darkwa coming in here for the Giants, and he ran all over us. 21 carries, 117 yards, averaged 5.6 yards per carry. Who would have thought that? Great game for him. Great job by the Giants offensive line. I know they've reshuffled some things, moved some guys from the right side to the left side, and it showed, man. Credit to Justin Pugh, credit to John Jerry, credit to those big uglies up front for the Giants, because they really kicked our defensive line's ass. I mean, whether it was Derek Wolfe, Shaq Barrett, Von Miller, Adam Gotsis, even Domata Peko at times, we got our asses kicked inside. We got our asses kicked on the edge. The Giants just kind of punched us in the mouth. At least their offensive line punched our front seven defensively right in the mouth. And again, Orleans Darkwa, 117 yards, averaged basically 6 yards per carry. Had that big 47-yard run, I think it was in the second or third quarter, where Adam Gotsis just got absolutely destroyed by the left or right guard of the Giants. And then Orleans Darkwa had that hole, that free lane. Brandon Marshall, Todd Davis, nowhere to be found to help in that gap, help in the hole, and he just took it up the field for 47 yards. Again, virtually no contain on the edge in the run game defensively. Von Miller, I thought, was terrible there. Derek Wolfe, again, Shaq Barrett, our linebackers. I thought Brandon Marshall and Todd Davis both had really, really rough games here. But definitely, we struggled defensively, setting the edge, containing the edge against the run, and then inside, outside of Domata Peko, your big guys up front for the first time this season got their asses kicked and got punched right in the mouth. I think Domata Peko, to his credit, he played pretty well, got in the backfield frequently, and I thought made some grown men plays, no question, at that nose tackle spot. He finished with 7 tackles, and I think he was probably our best interior defensive lineman in this game. And credit to Justin Simmons and Darian Stewart. I think mainly Justin Simmons definitely had some questionable plays in coverage, but those guys combined for 17 tackles in this game. I think Justin Simmons had 11 of those 17 tackles. I thought both those guys did a great job of really coming up and helping in run support and making some plays down in the box, getting in the backfield, especially Darian Stewart early on in the game, and then Justin Simmons kind of picked up as the game went on. So kudos to those guys. Again, kudos to Peko for playing decently well and definitely best of any of our defensive linemen. But our front seven in general really struggled in this game and really needs to make some adjustments, especially with the team we're about to face and Melvin Gordon. I know we did a good job of containing him in that first game against the Chargers, but after what the Giants did to us, again, they rushed for 148 yards on 32 attempts. Darko has 117 of those 148 yards. Again, you just got dominated in the trenches. Defensive line just got punched right in the mouth. And kudos once again to the Giants offensive line for really dominating the line of scrimmage here. But also on the flip side, your offensive line got their asses kicked by the Giants defensive line. The Broncos in this game, we only rushed for 46 yards on 17 attempts, only averaged 2.7 yards per carry. There was I think 4th and goal on the half-yard line with C.J. Anderson. We couldn't run it in there. That was kind of indicative of this whole game, that one play. Again, 46 yards on 17 attempts. We became one-dimensional offensively, which never works well for us, given our personnel offensively and who we have playing at quarterback. And kudos to Dalvin Tomlinson, rookie out of Alabama, and Damon Harrison was a man among boys. He absolutely ate up Max Garcia, ate up Matt Paradis, ate up Alan Barbre, Ronald Leary. It did not matter who we had playing in the interior offensive line. Damon Harrison was pushing people around. He finished with 4 tackles and a sack. He was very, very dominant in this game. And again, our interior offensive line really struggled, especially in run blocking, whether it was Alan Barbara, Max Garcia. I think both those guys, especially Alan Barbara, he was getting tossed around the field all game long. And then even Ronald Leary had had a questionable penalty and had some questionable blocks. Our interior offensive line was garbage here in this game. And just a tough game in terms of line play for the Broncos, and it really showed in this game. Defensively also, the coverage over the middle was baffling and honestly, again, just pathetic. A lot of miscommunication led to Evan Ingram, the rookie tight end out of Ole Miss. Kid I like a lot, was a guy I was hoping the Broncos maybe looked at. Had a great game for the Giants. He finished with 5 catches for 82 yards and a touchdown. We did a pretty good job of containing the wide receivers that were out there for the New York Giants. I mean that with all due respect to Roger Lewis and Ed Egan and Tavares King, but against our secondary, I think most people would expect them to be as effective as they were. So we did our job in terms of stopping the wide receivers on the outside and the coverage there. But the coverage over the middle, and again the coverage on Evan Ingram, I don't know what the fuck our linebackers were doing. I don't know what Chris Harris was doing on one of the plays. He went to help on Evan Ingram and then faded off. I don't know where the miscommunication was there. Justin Simmons on the touchdown play, it was a designed rollout. Clear as day out route to Evan Ingram, and Justin Simmons just takes a bad angle, lets Evan Ingram get to the outside and get open for the touchdown. And you look at some of the situations that they were able to take advantage of against our defense with Evan Ingram. At one point they were lining Evan Ingram up at the top of the field to go one-on-one with Shaq Barrett. That's never going to end well for us. And we're a defense, let's be honest, the past 3 or 4 years, as great as we are, the no-fly zone, orange crush, whatever, we have failed to cover tight ends. And that's, it's just is what it is. We don't feel the need to upgrade at interior linebacker, at that inside linebacker spot. We've had plenty of opportunities to draft guys like C.J. Mosley this year, Reuben Foster, even a couple years ago Donta Hightower, and we don't ever want to address that spot. I don't know what John Elway has against inside linebackers, but it continues to bite us year in and year out. And again, no disrespect to Brandon Marshall or Todd Davis, but they are somewhat weaklings at times of our defense, and teams are able to expose our coverage in the middle of the field. You saw the Giants do it here to great effect again with Evan Ingram, 5 catches, 82 yards and a touchdown. And again, a lot of it had to do with miscommunications in the secondary and in the coverage, but a lot of it falls on Brandon Marshall and Todd Davis. A lot of it falls, again, Chris Harris. I don't know what he was doing on the play. Justin Simmons had a rough game covering him. And it's not like Evan Ingram was running, intricate routes or these were great play calls. A lot of the catches he had were little drag routes over the middle, but again, you can't communicate well as a secondary, and you got guys, not knowing whether to help or not to help. And it showed. So that killed us once again. I don't really mean to pick on this guy because I think he's amazing and he's an incredible player, but Von Miller was non-existent in this game. He had a sack, in the 4th quarter. I think Shaq Barrett had a sack. Adam Goetz might even had a sack, but our pass rush in this game was really not very effective at all. And it starts with Von Miller. A lot of situations he was one-on-one with Justin Pugh, who is a solid right tackle out of Syracuse for for the Giants. But let's be real, Von Miller should win that matchup 9 out of 10 times. And Justin Pugh had his way with Von Miller, stood him up. I mean, it looked like Von Miller, there was really no creativity in his attack. A lot of bull rushes, just trying to mull over Justin Pugh. Not a lot of spin moves, rip moves that you're used to seeing from Von. Not utilizing his speed so much. Just kind of trying to power through Justin Pugh. And that could be, again, underestimating the opponent, whatever it may be. But he was a non-factor in this game. 1 tackle and 1 sack. Again, the sack comes in the fourth quarter. Really didn't mean much. Not a good sign. I mean, defensively, a lot to work on and a lot to be concerned about. Again, you only give up 16 points, 7 of which came off the pick 6. But I mean, still, man, it was an ugly game defensively, especially from the defensive line play, the coverage over the middle, the pass rush being as ineffective as it was. And I tell you right now, I am so relieved and so thankful Shane Ray is coming back soon, because fuck do we need him, and this game really showed that. But nonetheless, just defensively, really shaky performance. Let's be honest, Trevor Siemian, he's a guy I've stood up for, and I like Trevor a lot. I got a lot of confidence in Trevor, but he struggled the past couple games, and he struggled mightily in this game. Again, because we weren't able to run the ball, we became really one-dimensional offensively. We had to throw the ball a ton. Trevor Siemian in this game throws the ball 50 times. He goes 29 of 50 for 376 yards, threw a touchdown and 2 interceptions. Just a bad game for Trevor on a lot of different levels. A lot of his tendencies that you've seen him continue to do over the course of his career definitely kind of bit him in the ass here in this game. Held the ball too long constantly in this game. Staring down one receiver. Of course, the pick 6 by Janoris Jenkins, perfect example of that. Not progressing through his reads, just again sticking on one receiver. Again, you get the great play by Janoris Jenkins to undercut the route, jump the route, and take that pick 6, which was basically, at the time the game wasn't over, but that play was pretty much the nail in the coffin. Again, the offensive line was terrible in the run block, but they're terrible protecting Trevor. So Trevor was making mistakes in terms of holding the ball too long, again sticking too much on one receiver, staring down one receiver too much. But he was constantly thrown into the blitz in this game. I mean, the right side of our offensive line was terrible in pass protection, primarily that right tackle spot with Billy Turner and Menelik Watson, who got hurt in this game, and I'll get that to in a second. But you got Trevor constantly having to throw into the blitz, and then again the offense became predictable without being able to run the ball. And I don't know what it is with Mike McCoy or with our offense, but we literally love to run the fake halfback draw, quick read, one throw play, like over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I don't really understand that. If you go back in this game and chart how many times the Broncos literally faked the lead draw, and then Trevor just quick read one pass, like it's a designed throw, designed play. How many times we ran that, and how many times we have ran that this year, I would love to see it, because we run it all the time. Again, that predictability offensively killed you here in this game, and it's going to continue to kill you if you continue to do that, because the play-action passing game is solid, and it's one thing to utilize that, but when you're utilizing it every single time, and you can't run the ball on top of it, what do you expect? You're making it super easy for the defense. And then again, Trevor, it's just the tendencies, man. So many questionable decisions in this making. So many throws where, you're thrown into tight coverage. Again, holding the ball too long. Not progressing through his reads, sticking on one guy, constantly staring one receiver down. I mean, these are rookie mistakes. So definitely some things to clean up for Trevor. He did have some good moments. I mean, the 40-yard throw to DT I thought was really nice. Had a nice 33-yarder to Emmanuel Sanders. The touchdown throw to Jeff Heuerman might have been the best throw he made all game. Again, very questionable decision. You got the safety right over the top, the corner right there to make the play. I mean, it was great coverage, but the placement of that throw was beautiful by Trevor. So there was some high moments for him. But again, it's the questionable decision making. It's the staring receivers down too long. Again, the pick 6 was terrible. The other pick he threw, I mean, you overthrow the hell out of DT right into, I think, Landon Collins' lap. I mean, it's just questionable decision making. It's not progressing through your reads. It's not utilizing your eyes to deceive defenders. And again, it's holding on to the ball too long. I mean, Trevor Siemian is not Michael Vick. He's not Marcus Mariota. He's not even Big Ben. He's a guy that sometimes he tries to do too much, and it definitely ends up killing our offense. And here's another great stat for you. We are now 2-7 when Trevor Siemian throws the ball 35 times or more, and he threw the ball 50 times here in this game. You couldn't sustain a drive to save your life in this game. 5 of 17 on third downs. Just terrible execution on third down. So the defense was constantly on the field. Again, as great as our defense is, and say what you want about the Giants, not going to beat many teams when you go 5-17 on third down. 1-4 in the red zone. I mean, just terrible execution in the red zone constantly. I think Trevor had one of the picks. I think it might have even been the pick six was in the red zone. You got the C.J. Anderson half-yard line out. You can't, punch it in there. It's just embarrassing with the execution offensively here in this game on every level. And again, back to the right tackle spot. Billy Turner had to come in this game to play for Menelik Watson. But both those guys were terrible in this game. Jason Pierre-Paul, in the same way that Damon Harrison dominated our interior offensive line, Jason Pierre-Paul ate our 2 right tackles up for lunch. It was embarrassing. So he dominated 8 tackles, 3 sacks for him. He was great, and he was a game changer in this game. Again, he just literally bull rushed Billy Turner and Menelik Watson. Got a sack on each of them, I believe, in the same exact way. Just bull rushed and pushed him right back to Trevor, and then right there for the sack. So that right tackle spot has been in the same way that we can't cover tight ends on defense for the past several years. That right tackle spot has been a big question mark and a big problem spot for the Broncos for the past several years. We just cannot get anybody that is adequate at the right tackle spot. 3 turnovers. You lose the turnover battle. You don't force any turnovers defensively, and then you commit 3 turnovers. Again, the 2 picks by Trevor were terrible. The pick 6 to Janoris Jenkins. I mean, you're staring down DT the whole time. He jumps the route. That's one of the best corners in the league. Trevor ended up actually hurting his shoulder too, trying to tackle Janoris Jenkins on the play. And then the other pick, I mean, just a gross and terrible overthrow. I mean, just a really bad decision. And then DT fumbles on the screen. Janoris Jenkins, once again, making plays, strips him of the ball. Not going to beat many teams in this league when you turn the ball over 3 times like that. So, and I think once or twice in the red zone. Definitely kills you. And on top of this, you get the injuries to both Emmanuel Sanders on that play with Landon Collins, rolled up on his ankle. He's probably going to be out for some time. And Isaiah McKenzie, who did not have a great game at all, but he got hurt on a deep pass, also hurt his ankle. He's going to be out for some time. So now we got these injuries at wide receiver. Trevor's a little banged up. And our special teams was also terrible in this game, man. I mean, you got McManus going 1 of 3, missing a 35-yarder. Are you kidding me? And he missed it about as wide right as you can. And then I don't know how many muff punts we had in this game, whether it was Isaiah McKenzie. I think it was mainly Isaiah McKenzie, but luckily we were able to recover all of them. But I mean, muff punt after muff punt on top of your kicker going 1 of 3, the turnovers, the third down execution, the blocking, offensively, the defensive line play, the coverage over the middle defense. I mean, it was just a terrible game on all fronts for the Broncos. And one of the bright spots, so real quick, I do want to give DT a lot of credit in this game. Demaryius Thomas was phenomenal. Definitely kind of slowed down there in the second half, and kudos to Janoris Jenkins for battling the way he did, showing why he's one of the best corners in the game. But 10 catches for DT on 14 targets, 133 yards. Was clearly affected by some leg injury in this game and still gutted through. Really, the Giants couldn't contain him for most of this game. It didn't matter whether he was running short routes, intermediate routes, long routes. I mean, he was tearing them up. They could not cover him, and DT really showed and reminded people why he's one of the very elite wide receivers in this game. And for a guy that people constantly question in terms of his toughness or his competitiveness, man, I think he earned a lot of people's respect here in this game to still be out there competing, trying to make plays, being the only guy really on the offensive side of the football to make plays when your team's struggling, having this terrible game, and you're hurt on top of it, and you're gritting that out against one of the best corners in the game opposite of you. I think that's a hell of a statement by DT, so kudos to him. But nonetheless, thank you for watching, guys. I know this was a long video, touched on a lot of things. I always tend to ramble, so I do appreciate if you stuck around for the whole video and watch. Leave me a comment below. What'd you make of this game for the Broncos and Giants? If you're a Giants fan, would love to hear what your thoughts on your team and how you guys played. And of course, my fellow Broncos fans would love to hear what you guys thought of this performance, because this was a tough one to watch. So nonetheless, we're 3-2. Got to keep it rolling. Have a short memory, and get ready for the Chargers. Please subscribe if you like what you heard. And as always, go Broncos. Look forward to Week 7.